And it just doesn't make sense. Tristan can cheat 1, 2, 3 times, and Chloe every time takes him back. I don't understand. Oh, okay. Not that cheating. Alright, well, let's just, If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. It's a quote as old as time that, through just about every sport in existence, has been put to the test. It doesn't matter if it's the Olympic high jump or professional backyard fishing, if it's a battle of wits in chess or a battle of hold my beers in cornhole. People will go out of their way to bend the rules in their own favor. And as we're about to find out, nothing is too outlandish for the cheating world. We're in 1987 to start out today. The Twins and Angels are in the ballpark and old Joe Niekero is pitching. Like, real old. He's 43 at this time. And being double the age of some dudes out here, Joe's looking for any advantage he can get. 1 out into the 4th inning, Niekero throws a strike to DH Brian Downing. After this pitch, the umpire instantly stops, having noticed something weird about the baseball. He picks it up to see an obviously altered ball that looks a little something like this. With alarm bells ringing in his head, the umpire takes a trot on over to Joe, who almost instantly starts to lose his cool and looks as guilty as possible. They take his glove, but that looks clean, so after some harsh denials by him and his manager, he starts emptying pockets. Now, what's going on? Even the announcers are shocked here at first.
Checking him all over. I've never seen him do a search like this, quite like this before.
But as Joe is emptying his pockets, we get some impressive sleight of hand as he makes this little object disappear. Joe, in a live professional baseball game with thousands of eyeballs on him, thousands more watching on TV, attempts to slyly discard of this thing with no one watching. I can't imagine what his endgame was here, but somehow the umpires caught him and saw that what Joe was trying to hide was a nail file. He was instantly ejected from the game despite the bulletproof defense that he just needed to file his nails on the mound for knuckleballs. Now, this nail file, also known as an emery board, is the namesake of the emery ball, an illegal pitch in baseball that is precisely what Joe was trying to get away with. Using any sandpapery substance like the emery board, a pitcher can scuff the ball, which then alters the wind resistance on it when it's thrown, causing it to break differently than a normal baseball does. It was also revealed Joe had a small piece of sandpaper with him, which he claimed he always carried around for backup for the knuckleballs. But the MLB wasn't buying any of it, and they gave him a 10-game suspension for being caught cheating on live TV. Angels manager at the time, Gene Mauch, gave his thoughts, saying those balls weren't roughed up. Those balls were borderline mutilated. Now, despite the suspension, Joe Niekero and the Twins went on to win an amazing World Series that year in 7 games, which Niekero had a part in. He barely pitched the next year in '88 and retired, with 22 seasons of MLB baseball under his belt. So, was the guy trying to compensate for his old age by gaining an advantage, or did Joe Niekero just happen to get caught at the tail end of his career after getting away with it for so long? I'll let you answer that one, because we now have to turn our attention to a much more exciting and action-packed sport than baseball. We're talking professional fishing. Now, this one's just last year, in 2022. Evil still lurks in the world, and just buckle up here. We're in Cleveland, because obviously if people are going to cheat in a fishing tournament, it'll happen in Ohio. On Lake Erie, there's one of the biggest walleye tournaments around. A walleye is just the name of the fish, by the way. Now, what this tournament also had was prize money of over $25,000. That sets the stage for our 2 cheaters, Jacob Runyon and his teammate Chase Kaminsky, who I'll just refer to as Harry and Lloyd. Now, these guys were good fishermen. They had won plenty of contests before, won their fair share of money. So it wasn't too much of a shock when they were announced the Team of the Week winners of the Lake Erie tournament. What was a shock, though, is the videos that went viral on social media that showed all the finalists' fish being weighed to judge who's the winner. Whoever caught the most pounds wins. It's simple. Now, they've announced 3 teams total. They've scored 9, 16, and 12 pounds, respectively. Then our boys come on up, and 33 pounds is their total. Not even believable. Double the next competitor. And they're just congratulated at first. You can hear some kind of hushed whispers in the crowd, but no red flags really seem to be up yet. But eventually, after a few more minutes of deliberation, you start to hear some shocked gasps, some "no ways, that can't be." We see a guy sprint off the stage, and a few seconds later, with 5 glorious words, one man, with his hand inside a dead fish, would bring it all crumbling down.
We got weights and fish!
There we go!
Oh, the onslaught. No more rules, no more sanction, just angry fishermen coming down with sheer force and terror to the likes only Bud Light knows. They had stuffed their fishes full of weights and other filleted fish in order to get their weight up. Remember, these are 2 guys who have been in the community, been winning contests for a while. They have relationships, and this is betrayal. So, as the head of the event continues to chop up fish after fish, finding weights in every single one, fisherman chaos ensues.
All these motherfucking heroes! Look at that! Go get that motherfucker! How you like it now? Huh?
And while it's funny, this actually had more severe consequences than you might realize. See, these 2 hadn't just won contests in the community before. No, our criminal friends here had racked up over $300,000 in prize money in years prior to this contest. This was no cheating in a local fishing tournament. This was a well-orchestrated and long-thought-out fraud to steal huge amounts of money. What probably happened here was they had a strategy that they used to win the competitions, and they'd probably nailed it to where they would just win by a couple pounds every time, no suspicion, and they just way overshot it here. This same duo had actually been kicked out of a tournament once before after one of them failed a polygraph about cheating, and I wish we had video of fishermen conducting a lie detector machine, but we don't. So that's why the punishment seems tough at first, but when you know everything, they're 10 days in jail, 18 months probation, and 3 years fishing license almost seems like a slap on the wrist. The 2 also lost their fishing boat and trailer and will undoubtedly never regain their dignity in the fishing community, but this wasn't the only weird sport to have a major cheating scandal just last year, as our next entry takes us to the mind-numbing world of chess. If I asked you to name a single current professional chess player, 60% of you wouldn't be able to pull a single name out, and maybe 39% of you would probably only know one. That is Magnus Carlsen. The world #1 player in chess has held that ranking since 2011 and is often able to breeze through just about any tournament he wants. That's why it was beyond shocking when Magnus, on just day 3 of the 2022 Sinkfield Cup, lost to American Hans Niemann. Even more amazing, Magnus lost playing with the white pieces, meaning he got to move first, which has historically been around a 5% advantage in pro chess. Even with this, Hans Niemann defeated the world #1, a massive upset that ended a 55-game winning streak for Magnus. Now, this would be seen as just a great match for Hans, a career definer really, but very soon after it ended, controversy arose. Magnus Carlsen, just hours after he lost, tweeted a cryptic message, withdrawing himself from the tournament respectfully, along with this GIF.
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble, and I don't want to be in big trouble.
If I speak, I'm in trouble instantly made the chess community jump to conclusions, and I mean jump to conclusions. Yeah, they said Hans Niemann maybe cheated, but that wasn't it. That was none of it. Theories as to how he could have cheated went rampant over the next few days, but the one that emerged over all of them was simple. Hans Niemann cheated with vibrating beads that he put up his butt. This is like what Hans Niemann is known for now. Like, regardless of if he cheated or anything else he wins, people know him as a cheater, and a lot of people know him as the beats guy. Niemann denied this cheating accusation, but it gets a little interesting after that. These two got matched up against each other in a completely different tournament not long later, this one an online tournament. And adding fuel to the fire, Magnus Carlsen resigned from the game immediately after one move, refusing to play Niemann.
I don't think he cheated in the Singfield Cup, but everything else is still up in the air.
Sorry, Alejandro, I just have to interrupt you because the game started and Magnus has logged off. What has happened?
Magnus has resigned.
Magnus has resigned the game against...
This is a bigger statement than the tweet, I think.
Magnus never outwardly said Niemann cheated, but the tale had absolutely been ran with, and Magnus did admit that he was very suspicious. Hans Niemann admitted that he cheated a long time ago in some online games, which he was caught for, but he was adamant that he never cheated in any in-person game. The big whammy, though, was when chess.com removed Hans Niemann's account on their site entirely after releasing a report detailing his online cheating habits. Many people supported Magnus Carlsen in this, but nothing was ever proven for the game he lost to Niemann in terms of cheating. Eventually, Hans Niemann filed a $100 million lawsuit against Magnus, chess.com, and some other people who talked about the situation that was thrown out. But Hans Niemann did end up getting reinstated on chess.com, and all parties were said to resolve peacefully. That likely will never heal the reputation of Hans Niemann, though, at this point.
High-tech anal beads vibrating in a chess grandmaster's ass to transmit the best possible moves in order to win a match.
From athletes who intentionally broke the rules of their game, let's switch it up a bit and look at a story that's a bit more murky than that. One Olympic athlete excelled at their sport while completely breaking the rules, and it wasn't even their choice. Maybe. In the 1936 Olympics, Dora Ratjen, as a young 17-year-old, competed for Germany. With no experience at this level, she took home 4th place overall for her country, a country that was just 3 years into the leadership tenure of Adolf Hitler. At the 1938 European Championships, Dora Ratjen set the world record in the women's high jump, winning the gold medal with a 5-foot, 5 3/4 inch jump. After upping the world record the next year, an insane twist came into play. After being arrested by police for being reported as a man disguised as a woman, a physician was summoned and it was proven that Dora Ratjen was indeed a male. He admitted to having known this, but the story just gets wild from here. From a confusing birth, Dora Ratjen, who would end up changing his name to Heinrich Ratjen, went by a girl in his childhood. He was raised as and dressed like a normal girl, and no one really took question to it. Around the age of 10, Heinrich realized the truth, but just didn't say anything and never questioned it. Even many of Heinrich's teammates from the Germany team suspected absolutely nothing. But after it was discovered beyond the shadow of a doubt that Heinrich Ratjen was male, he agreed to immediately stop participating in women's sports. The women's high jump world record was eventually set back to the mark before Ratjen, and Heinrich lived the rest of his life as a man, getting new ID and documents, peacefully existing, working, and declining most requests for interviews. But he will forever be remembered as an interestingly unique cheater. There's also another big conspiracy about Heinrich Ratjen's whole life that I can't leave out when talking about him, but I just don't have the time to get into. So from a hard-to-believe cheat in a different country, let's bring it back to basics with a legendary NBA cheating story. We think of All-Star Weekend in recent memory as sort of a joke. Guys mess around, no one competes in the competitions, and no one really gives a full effort. But if only we still had dudes in the league like Baron Davis. It's All-Star Weekend, 2001, and Baron Davis has made it here to the final round of the dunk contest. Before he attempts his last dunk, he teases the crowd, telling us he's got something special coming. The blind man's bluff. Oh boy.
It's called the blind man's bluff.
Baron Davis comes onto the court with a blindfold over his eyes, being his headband wrapped so he can't see anything. The man is going to attempt a dunk without being able to see. The only issue with this plan is we can clearly see on TV that Baron Davis has 2 holes poked through the headband. Kenny even makes fun of him for it on the call.
He can see. I don't know what kind of gimmick he has, but he can see. Look at that hole right there. I can see your hole, big guy.
Now, okay, he cheats and wins the contest, so what? It shouldn't count. No. Baron Davis missed the dunk. With holes through his blindfold, he missed his fake blind dunk. Maybe on purpose, who knows? And Baron Davis stuck to his guns, attempting to claim there were no holes in his interview after, even though the whole arena was just clowning on him.
Couldn't. Look at this, man. You can't see no holes. Ain't no holes in this. I couldn't see. But David wasn't supposed to stop me. I told him stop me if I'm not close enough. But
this is a legendary All-Star Weekend moment. It screams old NBA. Everyone's just having fun. MJ's in the top box, even laughing at him. David said his helper was supposed to stop him if he wasn't too close to the hoop, but I can't buy that. I think you realized everyone saw his holes and he missed it on purpose, so we thought he couldn't see. I'm on to you, Baron, but this is like the best and most accepting way someone can cheat, in my opinion. One of the worst ways you can cheat in sports, a common one that is universally hated, I couldn't make this video without mentioning flopping. And where better to turn for flops than soccer? Guys like Baron Davis and Joe Niekero, they got caught trying to cheat in front of thousands of fans watching, but the single event that would be even dumber to cheat in, the event that has more people watching it than any other sporting event on the planet, the World Cup. You have the worst odds to get away with something here imaginable, but that didn't stop Rivaldo in the 2002 World Cup. Playing for Brazil against Turkey, Rivaldo's setting up in the corner when a Turkey player does kick the ball at him at a decent speed, but ensuring that he makes the most of the moment, greatly affecting his facial area, likely through some sort of serious bodily trauma. The show peaks as Rivaldo draws a red card with his suffering against Turkey for kicking that ball, an insane feat in a World Cup game. Rivaldo was fine for this, but after that quick stop to see some flopping, we've about seen it all for this video. Cheating in sports, unlike some of my last topics where I really went through the entire history, has a lot more to be uncovered still. I went with only one entry per sport and tried not to just do the most popular ones, but instead some good stories. If I missed a cheating story you like, comment it down below, and if there's support, there's definitely the chops for a part 2 to be made. Shout out to my lovely subscribers who would never get caught cheating. Who knows if they'd cheat though. And toodles.